Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, a new strategy and tactical Civil War game out. This is episode number 18 in our Let's Play series, playing as the Confederacy, and we are about to fight an absolutely massive, an epic battle, the largest battle that I have fought so far in this game during the campaigns, either as the Union or the Confederacy. The battle will be fought in Kentucky. Albert Sidney Johnson's Army of the Tennessee has just over 40,000 soldiers, both infantry and cavalry, at its disposal, and General Keim, the commander of the Union force, has over 60,000 soldiers coming at us. And so this may be a multi-day battle. It is taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel. If you're interested in catching those unedited, you can check out the link in the description. But let's not froth at the mouth. Let's just jump on in to this absolutely massive battle. 81 guns, oh god. Yeah, the artillery situation is a concern. We're on the defensive. They're going to come on the map in the north here. We fought on this map one other time, and I deployed everything in these woods, and then they just flanked me. But I have double the force than I did then. Fair bit of engineering points too. Let's do this. Deploy. These guys are all first. No, they're not first timers. Okay. Deploy these guys on this fence line. Deploy this artillery to the flank. I think they should be able to see everything pretty well. I mean, there's no good high ground really. I mean, there's kind of in this wood here, I guess, maybe for Polk's battery. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is Bragg's going to be deployed in these woods with a double line, so he's got some reserves. The artillery will fire up this road if the enemy advances that way, with the infantry covering them so they don't get engaged super close. So that'll be Chase's command. Slightly different than last time, a similar disposition, but slightly different. And then we'll have another whole corps here, as well as some cavalry. So we will bring Johnson Zolkoffer's corps, which is in worse shape. These guys are more dubious from a morale perspective. We'll deploy their artillery to the flank. They really can't see very well. Okay. This is where I could really use some goddamn rifles. Okay. That doesn't make... I'm going to assume this artillery can't shoot over their heads, but I also don't really want to put them out there. We'll put Walker to guard the fort in our rear. Imbiden's cavalry will also guard the rear. And then Donaldson will just act as a general reserve in the woods here. Why not use the river as a defensive? Impotent should actually go up here. Although I don't think they're going to get to the river this way. Well, the objective is to hold this area. So, I mean, we could deploy behind the river. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm not really sure what the best approach is. But we do have some breastworks, so we're going to do that. Okay. All right, we'll get these guys on the breastworks. They actually get better defenses there than on the fence line. Meanwhile, any of the troops they're engaging should be in the open. So the right flank should be pretty damn secure with this line of breastworks. Okay. Come on. All right, we only get partial because the line extends past the earthworks. Let's actually deploy Donaldson in these woods here. We can advance him in front of the artillery as needed. Sorry, troops ran out of planks. Goddamn right. Okay, we'll move Zolkoffer forward. Johnson, in theory, would be headquartered probably at about this house. And then we've got Buford's cavalry, which I think will scout out ahead. Would not shock. I would expect the Federals perhaps to come down this road on the left. But if they do try and cross these fords, we've got one division that just needs to change its front. Then we've got artillery already on the heights that'll overlook the crossing, and another division on the other fords. So we also do have some breastworks left, at least a little bit. All right, so the rest of that brigade is now entrenched. And then the troops in the rear with the bridge here. Okay, so one of the brigades guarding the rear bridge will also be in earthworks. Okay. All right, well. Then this division over here, Buford, you're going to deploy. First, you're going to detach. And then I guess deploy up here. All right, it's already also the afternoon, so we may not see a lot of fighting today. Nemesis Sizzleon, thanks for the follow. Random Tangents, also thank you for the follow. All right, so these guys should be detached, unless they're just waiting for the command to come. Get up on those heights. Yeah, I feel like they're still waiting for their orders, so they may not be detached. Oh well. Also, Buford's morale is probably low. Looks like one of his brigades, the Florida State Militia. Oh, halt. Hey, look at all this cavalry the enemy's got. All right, well, we'll shift Donaldson's division. See what the enemy does. So now that we've deployed our troops in front of them, some enemy artillery is firing on us. Remember, they've got a lot of guns. Move off to the right. I don't want to take too many casualties from artillery. Oh, nope, never mind. Halt. Pull back, boys. They're deploying in line. I wonder if they'll pursue us. It's going to be the end of the first day's fight. Well, I guess we'll see where they're going to deploy. Why are those other two brigades taking their time? Okay, there they go. 27 men lost, all to artillery. So the enemy is going to push forward here. Let's pull these guys back behind that line. Looks like the enemy are going to form up. French, why? Get up there before they rout Buford. The enemy's firing much more rapidly than me. I assume they have some breech loaders. Not quite in the radius of command. They're retreating. Very nervous. They haven't broken yet, though. Okay. So it looks like they managed. That's the first time I think I've managed to use the retreat command and not have my troops rout. We're going to move one brigade, Loring's brigade, across the river here. Actually, go move these guys over here. these guys down here. We'll move 2 brigades across the creek here because there's some nice defensive walls or levels over here. There's a fence line on the other side where we can get 2 brigades in line there. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, you pull back to mixed cavalry weapons. Walker's got the sharps. I'm okay with him engaging. So we've had some fighting, about 100 casualties. Claims a minor defeat so far, but I'm not going anywhere. Well, thanks, Nemesis Leon. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation there, but appreciate it. All right, so we've got the 1st Cavalry is engaging, or Walker's Brigade is engaging the 1st Cavalry. We're staying mounted up. We're using our sharps. Thanks for the follow, pod. We're seeing if we can hit the 1st Cavalry in the flank with our sharps fire, which it appears to be working as such. Buford's going to move over there so he can issue verbal commands to his troops if needed. Florida State Militia broke. God damn it. They were doing just fine. Hey, Johnson, just inspire the men to keep fighting, okay? Walker's Brigade is firing at these enemy troops, which are advancing on us dismounted. Now, we have sharps, which gives us an advantage of rate of fire versus most weapons and also accuracy. Even if the enemy has carbines that might have a rate of fire similar to us, they won't have the accuracy that we have. But I am mounted up, so I'm assuming that makes me more of a target. I think we'll actually dismount. I'm just worried about being able to order a withdrawal. Especially if this enemy infantry is going to march down and engage me. My troops are given partial cover because they're in a wood line, if you will. Oh shit. I didn't realize the Federals formed up in front of our line over here. If we extend that range out to long, does that push this out at all? Can we engage these guys? Meanwhile, it's just 2 brigades slugging it out. 1st Cavs up to 200 casualties. Walkers less. Buford's demoralized. Why? The boys are fighting well. You're in cover, you're with your commander. You are taking some casualties, but well, the enemy is advancing with some infantry over here. Remember, the enemy has considerably fewer infantry than we do, but their cavalry is what gives them the advantage. Or roughly on parity in terms of infantry, I can't remember. Engage everybody at long range. And then send your own skirmishers out. There's division. We're gonna have a little bit of skirmishing here before the sun goes down. Alright, fall back under fire, so keep shooting at the enemy, but fall back. Hopefully you're able to do that. These guys to long-range fire. Enemy infantry is trying to march down this road around our flank. Looks like there's about 3,000 of them. Artillery is opening up just as we planned. These were areas we knew we would be able to shoot at. And then the infantry should be able to cover them before the enemy gets too close. Sharps troops are falling back. Enemy is advancing on them while they fall back. No, the enemy is retreating, or at least falling back. We're going to drop Well, it's a battery of troops. So can we mount up and move on the double to get back under our lines? Because that would be great if we could. Don't, they broke. Well, they're gonna get out of there in any event. They did a good job of inflicting heavy losses on the enemy. They just didn't withstand the pressure. And they're cavalry, so... Alright, so... we're engaging these enemy troops that were trying to march down this road. Adams' brigade has about 2,500 Fayetteville rifle muskets, so basically like a Springfield copy, engaging versus the 2nd Brigade of the Army of the Mississippi. 1,500 enemy troops. Our troops' training is poor. I don't know how the enemy troops' training is. But we've also got our artillery firing on these guys. Just as we planned. Meanwhile, we've got skirmishing going on with our own troops here. Call those guys back in. Please don't rout from the field. Okay. Sending out some skirmishers from those brigades on that wall. Enemy's pulling skirmishers out also. Florida State Militia is working on being rallied. Alright, so we drove the 2nd Brigade back with relatively light losses. We're driving the 1st Brigade back as well. Good job, Adams. Still claiming this is a minor defeat. We did have 2 brigades routed, I guess, which would probably play a role. The Federals have had nothing routed so far. Their morale is also better than ours. So, that being said, the enemy's lost more men. So we'll see. These guys are withdrawing. They're not routed yet. They're just withdrawing. Right, because a lot of our troops had to pivot, they are no longer fully in cover. Do we lose routed? Like, do we... It does look like we take penalties for routes of skirmishers, which is... Probably need to move some infantry up to act as a reserve of these troops. Are all these guys unstable? I'm gonna move Loring's brigade in here. They seem to have the best morale of anybody who's not in the front line at the moment. Let's also take one of the reserves brigades, Little's brigade, and move them over here also. Cavalry's closing with our troops. Ransom's brigade behind their breastworks.
Look at it, so beautiful. All of the musketry, the smoke.
My ear is vibrating. Alright. These skirmishers are very ideally placed. Gardner's skirmishers firing right into the flank of these enemy troops as they advance. My artillery also appears to be firing over our lines, so good for you, boys. I guess that's one benefit of having howitzers. Shoot up and over. The problem is I'm fighting with troops that had been routed in a recent battle, so a lot of my troops' morale is way worse. A lot of men fighting dismounted. Surprised they haven't tried to shake out those skirmishers on the flank yet. So some of these troops, one of these brigades looks like they're about ready to rout. Arkansas state troops. That won't cause the whole line to unbuckle because they've still got Whitting behind it. Meanwhile, it looks like the Sharp's carbine unit is rallied slightly. My reserve brigades are marching there. Those two brigades are marching to the woods. Don't know that they'll arrive in time, but they are headed that way. What's going on at the bridge? Nothing. We got two brigades on the other side of the bridge guarding it, guarding our rear from the enemy who hasn't come yet. And then we've got two cavalry brigades on the opposite side of the river of this ford. Armistead's brigade potentially could be useful. Oh man. Give me nightfall. Birch's brigade is about to break. It won't unbuckle the whole line again because we've got Whitting right behind it. Fuck. But that wasn't great. Certainly doesn't help the whole morale thing. Routes 1. Losses -1. Alright, so gonna go to probably start moving down the line. I don't think they're gonna be able to do any more than they've already done tonight. Also, I don't think any of these routed units are going to withdraw from the field. And actually, some of the cavalry units are getting pretty inspired by Albert Sidney Johnston. We did get routed units nearby. Oh, nice. We routed the first enemy cavalry unit. 800 casualties, only 1,300 survivors. So that was a pretty heckin' high casualty figure there. Casualty-wise, things are going very well for us. Better than 2 to 1. Remember, the enemy is like sitting out and engaging us. They're in the open field. All of our troops are in the woods or behind breastworks or both. So we've got some pretty big defensive advantages. Looks like they're bringing some cavalry brigades across this creek near Spencer's Bay. Our flank is in the air. I guess that could be a problem if we see the enemy bring large bodies of troops. I was assuming that they wouldn't be able to move them through those woods. In the water, actually. artillery is pounding these enemy troops here in the open. So I'm curious to see how replenishment of ammunition goes. Especially for some of these more heavily engaged infantry units. Bonham is buying breastworks. His morale's dropping a bit. I didn't mean for these guys to march through the line of fire. Yeah, it's got to be pretty close to the end of the day. So we can always move getting forward into these earthworks, get them a little bit closer. And Loring can move. Wooting spot. That would probably make more sense. Cavalry will probably rout from the field. And we've switched over to a minor victory. Their morale is ticking downward, and that's playing a role here. From routed units. Also, they've lost over 4,600 casualties versus just 1,700 up for us. This could be an incredibly one-sided battle from a casualty perspective by the end of it. Two more units, the 1st Brigade and the 1st Brigade, both threatening to rout. Skirmishers are low. Well, they still got 28 rounds of ammo. Alright, 1st Brigade routed. 1,100 casualties. More than 50% of this brigade became casualties. I remember the enemy does have about 16,000 cavalry. Assuming there's more troops over here. It looks like if we zoom in here, we can see there are dust clouds over here. That indicates there's additional enemy infantry coming up, or at least soldiers. And we can see some of the dust from these cavalry sliding into position. They could try and flank us over here on the right. That is definitely a real possibility. Goddamn right, we're stacking bodies. Bearing a lot of, Billy Yanks. I see, and Lorian's moving into position. What are those green and yellow icons under each division? These icons here represent perks, so essentially the situation. So if we go here, these troops are supported by friendly troops on either flank, and they are behind cover. This green icon here represents these brigades as being in cover. Yellow represents partially in cover, and the nothing means no cover. And then the red are negative situations, so these guys are under artillery fire. That affects the morale of the troops. These guys are cut off. They're like cut off from the rest of their unit because the rest of their brigade's over here, so they get a penalty for that as well. We're still engaging the 2nd Brigade. Looks like our cavalry over there has rallied somewhat. We're going to move Imbiden's brigade to extend our right flank. Mainly because I'm not too worried about this fort. I've got 3 brigades stacked up in front of it if they really want to cross. Can you train your cannon on the Yankee cavalry to the right? They're not in range. If I pivot them, they would be in range if they get closer. But at the moment, they're not in range. Guess I could see if I can get them over there. I don't know if being on the right flank would give us the range to engage them or not. I'm mostly leaving the other battery in position here to keep bombarding Wallace's brigade, which has now lost almost 50% casualties. Alright, let's fast forward a little bit. See what the enemy does. Their cavalry is looking at extending their line, by the looks of it. They're bringing additional infantry up. My guns here are not yet unlimbered. So there they go. They're unlimbered. They've got 2,400 cavalry there in that unit. I'm bringing Imbedons, Pemberton, Springfield musketoons, and mixed cavalry weapons to play. The Sharps troops, I'd rather avoid engaging them again if I can. My infantry's rallied too. Let's bring Sibley over here. The enemy has 16,000 cavalry, remember. That's going to be an issue. But in any event, my artillery's opened up as the enemy is attempting to extend their own line to overlap me. And these guys are firing at the enemy cavalry. 2,400 horsemen. Jesus Christ. I'll also be curious to see again how ammunition works. Because some of these units have fired off quite a bit. Ferry is extended their line to outflank me. Four more brigades are moving up over here. Pemberton, what are you doing? I guess go engage the enemy. Are there infantry moving back here? Why do we have a... Man, it's got to be close to nightfall. I know it's July and all that jazz, but... Alright, we're going to engage the enemy cavalry over here. I'm going to assume they'll counter-engage. Oh, they're just going to fall back? Okay. Alright, we'll pull our cavalry back. Shit. Shit, guys. They've engaged my cavalry. And these guys have mixed cavalry weapons. The enemy first cavalry has withdrawn from the battlefield. Fixed bayonets in charge. Oh, I didn't want to pump Pemberton to charge. Alright, so they broke. That didn't last very long. Look at all the fucking horsemen. It's like the goddamn Ride of the Rohirrim. Bring the infantry up to support them a little bit with their longer weapons. Trying to pull back Pemberton's cavalry while we can. Look at all those fucking cavalrymen with decent weapons. Pemberton broke. General, what's his face? I have no division. Alright, so I've engaged my infantry with the enemy cavalry here. My troops are in the open, which is not ideal, but they do have better weaponry, probably. My artillery is firing. I don't know what they're shooting. Is this canister or is this... Doesn't really tell me. I wish there was a way where you hover over the ammunition type that it would tell you what order was what. Go engage the first battery. The enemy has too many guns. We need to knock some of them out. Right flank, not in as good a shape. Sibley, actually, I think is part of ambulance division. More enemy infantry's coming down here. Okay. Don't really want my infantry to get wrecked by enemy cavalry in a stand-up fight. And infantry's about to extend the line. And enemy infantry's advancing on us, so it's going to be a nice good old stand-up fight in the open. Bring Steele's brigade forward as well. Porterfield's entire division's going to engage in the open. I'm hopeful we'll get to nightfall before they have a chance to do anything against us. Cavalry hit him with a volley in the open. Am I going to be able to save my regular unit? Which unit? Cheatham? Oh. I don't know. I think they might rally. There's a chance they would rally because they didn't lose as many men as you would normally think. Okay, the fighting in the rest of the battlefield died down largely, but we've got a division-size engagement here on the far right flank, with 2 brigades engaged on my side and a 3rd heading up to engage. The enemy, meanwhile, has 3 brigades of cavalry engaged. They're moving infantry to support. With those cavalry, but they need to buy some time. Give me fucking night. There's no Prussians coming, so just give me night. Does it tell me what time the sun sets? Probably 2100, I would guess. Alright, the 1st brigade's gonna turn their flank to me. I don't think charging the enemy in the flank does anything, but let's see. Like, I don't know that charging them in the flank matters any more than charging them in the front. Nope, they broke on contact. Okay. Well, that was dumb. Yeah, I mean, come on, Sibley. You were just... This isn't Napoleonic cavalry, I know, but you didn't even lose any men before you started running. Bernard Elliott B's... Is this Bernard B? General B of Stonewall fame? Oh, nice. Looks like we routed the first federal cav. Cheatham's trying to stay strong. He's just outgunned. He's punching damn good. You can see he's inflicting horrendous casualties on the enemy. They're probably dealing with the short-barreled carbines or breech loaders, which are less accurate than a long rifle. But at the end of the day, you might have an accuracy advantage, but when you were outnumbered 2-to-1 in terms of weapons on the firing line... Oh no, B's battalion broke. So the artillery on the flank is gone now. Number 10, get your cavalry up here. Looks like you've rallied. Let's get the Sharps carbines over there. They're definitely going around our flank. The infantry should pivot now and attack, but it looks like they're letting the cavalry push me back and using this infantry here to guard their flank from being flanked. Cheatham will break soon. I'm just hopeful that he can hold up for 15 more minutes and get us to daylight. Meanwhile, I'm trying to use Scurry to wreck these artillery batteries. Destroy some of these enemy guns. We might even things out a bit. Got Steele's brigade on the left flank of this divisional size engagement, which is taking place on our right flank. He's actually losing in his fight to the 2nd Brigade of the Army of the Ohio, principally due to being outnumbered 2-to-1. Move Gardner out to support him. Give him another 2,300 muskets on the line. Fuck. They're moving an artillery battery, or no, they're moving infantry into our rear. Moving our cavalry down to try and prevent Cheatham from getting flanked too badly. What a fucking fight so far. 11,000 casualties so far on this day. And it seems likely there will be another day of fighting. Meanwhile, Steele's brigade is also unstable. Looks like we're inflicting pretty heavy casualties on at least one of these enemy batteries. It's about to break. Please give me nightfall in 3 minutes. It's about to be 9 o'clock. It's 8:52. Hold, lads. I'm just praying sunset occurs now. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, boys, it's nightfall. Looks like at nightfall, the enemy brigade that was down here on the left is withdrawn, I think. So what do we do now? We can reposition troops as needed. We got more ammo on many of these units, but not full ammo. So it doesn't look like most of these guys, like some of these guys got like 10 rounds per brigade, but they didn't fully resupply, which is going to be a potential problem. All right, so Porterfield. Let's move you down here real quick. All right, so Gardner's going to need to advance to this breastwork. Actually, let's do this. Let's move Garfield up here behind those breastworks. Where are they? For some reason, they're not in position. Okay. So it'll be his brigade. These troops over here on the left are fully equipped. So let's, or maybe they're not. Some of their brigades are 60, 60, 60, 60. Okay. Imboden. Where's the other frickin' cavalry unit again? We got Porterfield. Walker. I need to figure out what to do with these men. Johnson. Buford. Okay. So let's take a look at these troops. They're in rough shape. The Sharps carbine boys I want to keep in action. Let's dismount them. Let's deploy them here. Okay. Porterfield's brigades were shot at pretty bad, so we're going to try and avoid using him today. But Walker's units are in pretty damn good shape. So we're going to deploy Walker's 2 lead brigades here in these earthworks or breastworks. And then we'll have Field's brigade also there. We do get some engineering points, so let's do this. Let's extend those breastworks. Can't really see very well in this light. So we'll refuse that line. Okay. So they'll extend their line. Walker's boys also should have full ammo, right? Because they didn't fight yesterday. They do. Why are these guys considered cut off? How close does Walker have to be to you so you're not cut off? that battery of artillery route doesn't look like it's still on the field. Okay. All right, let's put Pemberton. Well, it says he's broken. All right, so we also have this other fresh division, more or less. Donaldson's division. If the enemy's really going to stack up heavy on this flank, then I'm going to form them up over here. And we'll also form Porterfield. So we're going to put Porterfield here. That's the routed artillery. Okay. So let's put Donaldson slightly further forward. All right, so we're going to do this. Howitzers can fire over the line to a point. Not all the time. We'll do this. They should be able to fire from here, I would think. All right, so what we're going to do... build a second line of breastworks. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's video, which is the first part of this huge battle being fought in Kentucky with 100,000 soldiers engaged. It was a pretty near-run thing at times in this fight, especially as the Federals stacked up on our right flank. If I was the AI, I would have gone a little more aggressively, but still, they're putting up an impressive fight. They're putting some pressure on us. We're in the process of entrenching ourselves, building some new earthworks. We'll see if we can go ahead and finish this battle off with a victory, maybe even a major victory if we can inflict enough casualties on the Federals. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll finish this up in our next episode. Until next time, however, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.